This audio will cover the syllabus, pages 4, 5, and 6. On page 4 of the syllabus, we see that there's a tentative outline for the course. I want you to go ahead and circle tentative. Usually for this course, I don't need to make adjustments to the timetable and when things are going to be due, but sometimes it does happen. So in the event that anything on this schedule changes, I will be sure to post it on D2L. I will send you an email. So use this as a guide until you hear otherwise. The outline starts at the beginning of the semester, so there are plenty of weeks that we haven't started yet. And so this course starts in week 5 of the semester. Go ahead and star that. When you go onto D2L and start some of your assignments, and when you look at the calendar, and when you look at the forum and discussion posts, they're going to reference the week number for the semester, not the week number for this class. So when you go and look at your first discussion and it says discussion week 5, don't freak out about having missed stuff. The course is going to be organized into 5 units. Each unit is 2 weeks long, with the exception of Unit 5, which is 3 weeks long. All of the assignments that are listed for each of the units will be due on the last Saturday for that unit. The exception being the weekly discussion and forum posts. All of those will be due on the Wednesday for your initial post and Saturday for all replies. Unit 1, put a star next to the calendar assignment portion. That particular assignment is going to be started in Unit 1. You'll have to spend roughly 4 weeks working on that assignment. It will actually be due in Unit 4. If you look under Unit 4 Continued Week 13, Calendar Assignment Finish, put a star next to that. So you'll have about half the semester to work on this, but it will require that you spend about 5 minutes a day working on it each day diligently. It's not something that you can sit down and just get out of the way in one go. It has to be spread out. So be sure to stay on top of that and look at the instructions posted in Unit 1. Under Week 6, you'll see it says Advising Assignment ? Go ahead and circle that one. Your advising assignment is actually 3 different grades, and when you look on D2L and check your grades, you'll see one section is worth 25 points, one section is worth 50, and then a third section is worth 25 points. The specific dates for this, whenever we have a traditional face-to-face class, the advisor will actually make a trip and talk to the class, give a guest presentation, and those dates are specifically set aside for the advisor to do that. And I put those on the calendar because that's when those grades are taken care of. Since this is an online-only course, those face-to-face times are going to instead be combined into one meeting that you will have with your advisor. I believe that the advisor is going to prefer to speak with you on the phone, but they also have the option to Skype in, and you also have the option of going to campus and meeting with them if you're in the Cypress area. Not all the students can do that because it's an online class. Maybe you're in Tomball, maybe you're in the Woodlands, so for that one, most likely you'll just be speaking with the advisor on the phone. Now, the reason it's put in Unit 1 is because you will need to set up a specific appointment to talk with your advisor, and you'll have to turn in a proof of scheduling your meeting, and then you'll have the meeting later on in the semester, and that's when the additional grades will be put in. You'll also notice under Week 6, Unit 1 Continued, there's a Unit 1 quiz. For Unit 2 Continued, there's a Unit 2 quiz. So each unit has a quiz. The quiz will be available on the first day of that unit. The quiz will be 100% from the book. and the quiz will be due at midnight for the very last Saturday of that unit. I've made notes of spring break holiday, that's week 9, so during that week there will not be a discussion post for you to do. You won't be required to log in, there are no assignments due. You'll also notice that in week 12 there's the W day. Remember that if this class becomes hard, if you don't like your grade, if something comes up and you can't spend the time on this course, if you withdraw before W day, then you get a W, and that does not count against your GPA. If you withdraw after W day, you instead get an F, and that does count against your GPA. You'll notice that in week 4, the midterm exam will be held at a Lone Star testing center. Go ahead and put a star next to that. All of your unit quizzes will be handled by D2L. There is a section set aside for quizzes. For more information on taking quizzes, check out the audio guide on accessing your quizzes. But for the midterm exam and for the final exam, which is week 17, you will be required to physically visit one of the Lone Star campuses. It doesn't matter which campus you go to, but you'll want to make sure that you take a trip to the campus, stop by the testing center for that campus, verify their hours, their requirements such as having a photo ID or a student ID. You'll want to make sure you do that before the week when the midterm is held. If you show up to the testing center and you're missing documentation, don't have an ID, if it's after hours, or if for whatever reason they turn you away, that is not a viable excuse for missing the exam, and you will simply receive a 0. The reason you'll be going to the campus for these 2 tests is that because they are comprehensive, because they are worth more points, we need to make sure that students take the test in an environment where they're free of distraction and also monitored and proctored so that we know that they aren't cheating in any way. There's no fee for using the testing center services, but again, you'll want to make sure that you set some time aside to familiarize yourself with how your local testing center will work, and make sure that you set a time aside to go there. For both of those tests, you will be given a 5-day window, and you can go and take the test at any time during those 5 days. If you can't make it during those 5 days, you'll need to contact me as soon as possible in order to reschedule or make an exemption. The other thing to note is that finals at college work a little differently than they do in high school. So if this is your first semester, it might end up being a little weird for you. During finals week, your entire schedule will change for all of the classes that you are taking. Your class will meet only once that week, and the time that you meet will be different than what you normally do. So you'll want to make sure that for your other classes that you verify what time and what day your final exam will be held. There is a final exam calendar on the Lone Star website. You can access that by going to the Lone Star website, using the search function and looking for the academic calendar, or looking for the final exam schedule for this semester. Again, for the final exam, you'll have about a 5-day window specified between May 6th and May 11th for this course. You can take your final exam at any time within that window. One additional thing to keep in mind when looking at the testing center hours: your final exam and your midterm, you will be allotted a 2-hour time slot to take the exam, but if the testing center closes before that 2-hour time slot, your exam will end when the testing center closes. You'll want to make sure that you give yourself enough time to finish the test before the testing center closes.